What's up, everybody? It's Brandon. I'm back. Box office banner, cult flick symposium. Finally had to fire it up, man. I've got to talk about Dune Part 2. I always got some heat for the first one that came out. Not as big of a fan as other people, but I really appreciated the spectacle, and yet it's still somehow, even though I had a lower score, I didn't have a bad score, but a lower score than most people, it still somehow had me so intrigued for what part two would bring. So I actually was pretty damn hyped for this movie. And if you know me, I love Florence Pugh, so I got even more hyped for that. I went back and rewatched the first one. It definitely was a little better on second watch. I mean, objectively, it was already amazing, but a little better for me personally. And I watched even, the OG, Mr. Lynch. I remember being kind of a fan of this one when I was a kid. Did not hold up at all for me. Couldn't get into it at all. And it made me appreciate the newer one. More new one. Newer, more new. Even more. And only just fucking ratcheted up that hype for 2. So did Dune 2 deliver? Yes, fucking sir. Okay. So Dune 2, again, we do have a bit of what the first one was, but I will say I do enjoy this sequel more than the first movie, like many of the people I've talked to that have seen it. But there still yet is a little bit of not quite my thing for whatever reason. I'm noticing as I'm getting older, unless there's like a very big horror element amongst the sci-fi, I'm not quite that big of a sci-fi fan. I need that little other thing in there. I need that little extra zest, and by zest I mean horror creature, a la Predator, my third favorite movie ever, Aliens, or just any of the stupid bottom of the barrel ones. But this one, you got the sandworms, you got a little bit of that, but even so, man, looking at this objectively, this was like a downright almost sci-fi masterpiece. You could almost make that claim. The pacing, the story, every bit of it was so fucking well done. And everybody that I wanted to see really do good here did good. Florence Pugh was a little, not really underutilized, just because, she's like my favorite fucking actress, actor, anything. I don't need her to be the main fucking character, It's not all about me, even though everybody loves Florence Pugh. It's got to feel coherent within the story, and obviously they're going off of a book, so they need to have it flow right. So I understand, and when she was in the movie, she didn't do anything mesmerizing, but she's Florence Pugh, man. She's something about her, man. She just makes it work no matter what, even if she's not doing a whole lot or necessarily being asked to do a whole lot in terms of, acting. She's just kind of playing a role, even if her character looks like, is going to be set up to maybe have a bigger role going forward. I don't know. Forward? Is there going to be a third one? There's a lot of rumors, people. Are we going to do a third one? Holy shit. And once again, I left the theater a little disappointed by my own merits, but I'm still sitting there. I'm like, God damn, I really want a third one, though. But this one did something that the first one didn't do. I already liked it a little more. But I found myself as I left the theater, I was in like the 7s. I'm like, this is like a 9.5, 10 out of 10 movie. I can say that. But for me, everybody has these movies. This is like in the high 7s, which there's nothing fucking wrong with. I really enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's bad. But this one did something the first one didn't do. It grew on me, man. Next thing you know, later that night, I was up to like an 8.1. The next thing you know, the next day, I'm just in love with just marveling at the spectacle, and scope of this film, that now I'm up to an 8.5, and it is looking like maybe my favorite movie on the year. Haven't watched a whole lot yet, but that's, high praise. 8.5 is a high score. All the actors, dude, the big names. I've been on, cloud 9 lately all of a sudden with the, more bigger ensemble, because like the last couple movies I've seen have delivered with the bigger ensemble cast, but that's always a big gripe for me, where I negate points even more for a movie when, like, if you don't have a big cast, in terms of not like size, like look how many people are on this set. Obviously Dune does, but I mean big name cast. Okay, you didn't deliver in certain spots, and that's okay. You didn't really have the cast, but when you have juggernauts, and I'm looking at them, and you paid great money for these guys, and it's still kind of meh, that pisses me off. It starts to dig into me just a little bit. And I've been complaining about that. Seemingly all last year, every movie I saw, the big ensemble cast really just wasn't hitting, at least not on the levels I wanted it to. And now the last couple have, and this one you can add to the list. Everybody in this movie does damn good, man. I'm not a big Timothy Chalamet fan. Again, this is another like, almost wishy-washy way of saying it, but like it's just legitimately how I feel. I don't hate the guy. I don't think he's bad. I think he's a damn good actor, but I don't know if I quite see great. I saw elements, at least in this one, for the first time. Zendaya, same thing. I just don't really get the craze, behind her, but she did fine for her role. And then everybody else did great. I love seeing Javier Bardem in this. Batista was a little over the top, but that's what the character calls for, so it's fun. But Florence Pugh good, Christopher Walken good, fucking Josh Brolin, all these people did the damn thing. Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah, I could go on and on, right? But I got to tell you, man, the one guy I was worried about the most, are they going to fucking deliver a menacing villain in the form of Austin Butler? And again, this is non-spoiler. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but this man definitely makes you believe he is a motherfucker. Like from the jump. Like you're looking at him, you're like, okay, Austin Butler, let's see if you can. Oh, goddamn. Okay. You're like that. All right then. Yes. I mean, you got me backing up. I ain't fucking with you. Like it's an immediate. It doesn't take any time, and I like that. Why take the time? Immediately punch the audience in the mouth with this feeling of just, holy shit, this who, we're as an audience going to have to go up against and root against. Like, this dude's a problem. And I like that the movie takes no time. Now, in saying that, this isn't a big spoiler or anything, but it takes a little time to get to Austin Butler. So it takes a little time to get to him. So you're kind of like, when's he going to come in? 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 So then when he does come in, it goes boom, immediately. It's like, oh, it pays off what you've been waiting for, especially if you were very curious about his role in the movie, and it elevates it for that reason. Couldn't have done a better job, I think. I had a couple of my buddies like, oh, he was great, but maybe underutilized. No, not at all to me. I think the buildup of waiting for him to come into the movie, I'm not saying he shows up at the very fucking end. I'm just saying he's not in like the first couple scenes at least, okay? So don't take this as some big spoiler or something. You got to talk about a movie, but, people always want to be like, oh, well, don't say, like, what do you want me to do, bro? Like, I'm talking around it. I'm not saying any key components of the story. I'm just saying he's not in it immediately, and the creative choice and kind of, usher him in a little later, just a little bit, and you being like immediately like, all right, here we go. Finally, oh, you're like, here he is. This is what I've been waiting on. That was special for me, and it only continued from there on because he was a phenomenal villain, and I didn't know if he was gonna have it. Like I could kind of get a vibe from the trailer. I'm like, I think he might do good with this, but he exceeded expectations. The whole cast, as I said, everybody really did a great job. I think my biggest gripe with these movies isn't even a gripe because, like I said, objectively, they are fucking, it's like a masterpiece. It's legitimately, it's not even a gripe. It's just, again, it comes back to me without the monsters. Although, again, sandworms kind of not like full on slasher movie type monster, alien type movie, or just any type of monster in an alien movie that's wreaking havoc on people. And that's like the base, the core base of a sci-fi movie. It just isn't my genre, I've found. And then the other thing, this sounds so stupid, and I hate this because I'm not this type of guy, but there is something to watching this movie, even though I do think it's well paced and it keeps your attention. For whatever reason, maybe I need a little more pop with the colors because the cinematography is amazing in this movie. Just amazing. But there's something to it where I'm just looking at these sand dunes. You're like, yeah, dude, it's in the top. I know, I get that. Like, what are they supposed to film, bro? It's not going to be very colorful, It's just dark and dreary vibes the whole time, which I love, I do. But over the course of like a 3-hour runtime, there's something about that aesthetic that kind of checks me out in some weird way. I don't know why. Like, I don't want to feel this way. But in the end, everything else, literally everything else, and personal preferences aside, this movie is a fucking home run. This is more than worth the price of admission to go to the theater. This is a type of movie you have to go to the theater. This is why theaters are alive, people. This is for the naysayers like, I'll catch it on Redbox or whatever the fucking people say. Well, HBO Max, bro. I'm sure it'll be on HBO Max. I think the first one's on there right now. But when you could get that dumb motherfucker. I'm just playing. I'm not saying they're dumb, but you can get that person where you're like, bro, just sit down at the damn theater. I know you don't like it. And you can get them in IMAX. You can get them in there at the big crowd. Everybody's elbow to elbow. And you're watching this sci-fi spectacle come to life with the sound design. Mind you, my God, how good is the sound design in this movie? And it's all just coming at you almost like, just going to a game almost. Not just two people in a theater watching a movie on a standard screen. Watching it in IMAX, a spectacle, a bunch of people almost like, legitimately, it's an event. This is the type of movie that has to be seen at the theater to fully encompass its value. And value it is. Dune 2 delivered, guys. If there's any fucking type of doubt, like I said, I'm at an 8.5 out of 10, but I grade things on a personal scale. But I'm definitely ready to watch it again. And I was really blown away in spots. There was really almost the whole movie. It was honestly just personal preferences and just how, for whatever reason, the way my mind is made up and what I prefer in movies. But this is the type of movie that even if you do not like sci-fi, you might even take your chick to see this movie. And, we're in the TikTok age, right? Like, it's 3 hours long. Maybe she won't like it because it's 3 hours long. But in terms of like a story and action that can engage somebody that's normally not into these types of movies, it's so good it can transcend that. This movie exceeds my expectations. It's better than the first one, I think, bar none, even though the first one is also objectively a great fucking sci-fi movie. And this is one you, as I said, have to see at the theater. So anyways, guys, that's Dune 2. I love you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it even more than I did because it's deserving of that. And I will catch y'all next time. I'm back in the swing of things. It took me a little bit, my little hiatus. Had a lot going on, dude. I might need to do another Monday Mayhem just by myself to say all the crazy shit I've had going on, other than just having my hiatus. When it rains, it pours, right? But I love you guys. I will be seeing you soon, and you should be seeing Dune 2 soon if you've not seen it yet. 8.5 out of 10, more like a 10 out of 10, dude, on a real scale. It's up there in terms of sci-fi. It's an instant classic. Love you guys. Peace.